Hi guys, I'm Tommy. Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to remove and install your press fit bottom brackets. Without further ado, I'm going to show you the tools that you will need to perform this task. So first off, you'll need the actual tool to remove your bottom bracket. Now this is the Park Tool bottom bracket bearing remover. Which is what it says on the label, which I should have known before I recorded this video. But it's essentially the same as a headset bearing remover, but much smaller. It's much smaller in diameter. You will need something to actually push the new bottom bracket in with. That was close. This is the actual pressing tool. The correct name for this is the Press Fit Bottom Bracket Installer. That would make more sense. Now it comes with two spinny things, which then connect on to the axle, should we say, whatever. Then inside the box, we've also got different sized attachments. Small ones and big ones, and there's medium ones in there too. So that's the actual bottom bracket tools that you'll need. The next tool is very simple indeed. It's one of these. Now, if you're using Shimano cranks, it is a little crank end remover thing. I'll show you that later, but you will need for sure one of these. Now SRAM, no idea, I'm sorry. Go check this out on the internet. I don't know SRAM, I don't own SRAM. Shimano all the way, am I right? And finally, you'll need a set of Allen keys, but preferably I would use a torque wrench, which is not in there because the actual wrench is here, because I just filmed my crash video. So yeah, go check that out. That's the previous video. The final thing you'll need, which I actually completely forgot about, the bottom bracket, the new bottom bracket that you are going to install on your bike. Now we can go and fit it. So let's go. One tool I forgot to mention, a hammer. You're gonna need a hammer to remove your bottom bracket. The first step of the removal process is actually removing the crank arms. So we're going to start with the left crank arm. Now I've already loosened this bolt up because they were a bit tight and completely distracted me from filming. So yeah, these can, as I said, be very tight. So make sure you don't round the bolts. You don't want to take them all the way out, just loosen them up a bit. Then we're going to grab our special Shimano tool and place this in the side of the crank arm here, like so. And we're gonna unscrew the little cap. Now we've got a little locking plate in the middle of the crank arm. I'm going to try and do that. There we go. Once that's out, you can take the crank arm off. So now we've removed our left crank arm, we can go ahead and remove our right one. Now, the easiest way to do this is to slack the chain off by pushing the cage of the rear derailleur forwards, and carefully, without chipping your paint, lift the chain over onto the inside of the chain set and then simply pull on the chain set. Now sometimes it can be really hard to get a chain set out. The axle can get stuck. So if you get a bit of padding on here and a mallet, lightly tap on the axle to start with and try and pop it out. If it doesn't come out, tap it a bit harder. Don't go crazy because you don't want to damage the metal. If not, take it to your bike shop. You don't want to take any chances. Time to remove the bottom bracket itself. So you're going to grab your removal tool and insert it into one end of the cup, like so, and you're going to pull it through until it pops like that. And that means that the prongs on the end, or like the springy bits, have kind of gone outwards and are now pushing against the outside of the bottom bracket. With your hammer or mallet, you are going to bravely tap against the end of the extractor tool. Now don't worry, you are not going to damage your frame by removing your bottom bracket. As long as you don't hit your frame with a hammer, or if the bottom bracket's not coming out, then take it to a shop. Don't take any chances, especially if your frame is carbon. You don't want to be damaging your bike. Hold your extractor tool in place, make sure it's nice and sturdy, and with your hammer, just give it a few sharp blows on the end. pull the extractor tool through and you'll see that the main casing will come out as well. That is fine, but in my opinion, I put that back in just to give yourself a little bit of protection of the frame as well. Now, you're going to repeat the process exactly the same. Insert the tool backwards, keeping that piece in there to protect the frame. You're going to pull, and if I actually show you from the other side, this is what it looks like. These 4 pieces are getting compressed as they go in. When they go in, you should see them spring back out like so. Now they are pushing up against that cup. We're gonna hopefully send the cup outwards. I actually ended up hitting the phone with the cup. There we go. I can actually give you a better view of exactly how the tool works. When we insert the tool through here, it will obviously make that ping, and that means that the tool is locked in. That's what it looks like from this side. Those prongs are pushing against this outer ring. That's what's gonna push the bottom bracket outwards. The bottom bracket is filthy. What you might wanna do, grab an old cloth, give the inside of the bottom bracket a good clean. That is filthy. So now you've removed your bottom bracket and you've cleaned the bike, you can grab your brand new bottom bracket, and it's very simple. Insert this part of the bottom bracket in there. You also insert the other bottom bracket cup on the other side. The last tool that we're going to use is our bottom bracket installer. With my old bottom bracket cup, I'm going to demonstrate to you how I'm going to install the bottom bracket that is sat in the frame at the moment. With our bottom bracket installation tool, we are going to find the right sized piece to fit in the hole like that. Now that is absolutely perfect. Whereas a small one will go in, but it won't be covering this lip, which will damage the actual bottom bracket bearing casing stuff instead, and that's not what we want. So we're going to grab the original size piece, and we're going to check that that is the same fit on this bottom bracket, which it is, which is great. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the other one of those, which is not that one, that one. There we go. Hold that in place like so. Once we've got both pieces in the bottom bracket, can hold on to them and then thread through our axle thing with the thread on. Then we can grab our 2 arms and start to screw them on, and do the same with the other side. Now when you get to the point where there's pressure starting to build up, that's when you know that the bottom bracket's going to start to be pressed in. Now you've got to be very careful. You've got to make sure that the bottom bracket is going in central. It's not going in an angle, it's going in flat, not central, flat. That's what I meant. We're going to take a look, see if everything is looking okay, and from here it does. If not, take it out and put the bottom bracket back in again. Don't use the extractor tool because you will damage the new bottom bracket, and you don't want that. Evenly tighten both sides at the same time, and you'll start to notice that the bottom bracket is slowly going in. When you get to this point, you can see that there's very little spacing in between the bottom bracket and the frame. Now this is where you want to be very careful not to over tighten your bottom bracket, because you could crush the bearings, and worse of all, you could crush your frame. You're very unlikely to crush your frame because it's very strong, but you don't want to have that additional risk. So when you're tightening here, you're looking out for the gap between the bottom bracket and the frame to disappear. Now once they disappear, as soon as you start feeling resistance, stop. As soon as it stops turning, you don't really want to push any further. Sometimes you might hear a little click, and yeah, so right here it's still turning, but there's resistance. So I'm going to back that one off. I'm going to turn this one. Now that's not going in anymore, so I'm going to back this one out too, and I'm going to take the tool off, and we should be left with a nice bottom bracket that is clean, fresh, and ready to put our cranks in. So as you can see, there's no gaps in between the bottom bracket and the frame, and the bearings are turning smoothly. To start with, there will be quite a lot of friction, but that is because it's absolutely packed full of grease. Now that grease will heat and loosen up as time goes on, so it's just a case of bedding the bottom bracket in, if that makes sense. So give it a couple of weeks, maybe just a few days, and I'm sure it'll be fine. But there you go, that is installing your bottom bracket. Now you can go ahead, put the cranks back on, exactly the same process as before, just in reverse. And yeah, don't forget to put your chain on before you put your crankset on, because you have to take everything off again to put your chain back on. I do hope you enjoyed this video. I would show you how to put the cranks on, but my phone is on 5%, and if it goes flat, that's gonna be really annoying. So yeah, anyway, my first bottom bracket change video, probably not the most smoothest you've seen. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was interesting and very informative and helped you fix your bike yourself. It's always a good feeling when you don't take it to a shop and you've done it yourself and you get that sense of achievement. Like, share and subscribe, means a lot. Drop a comment, let me know what you want to see next. Adjusting gears coming up very soon. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one with another wicked video. Thanks for watching.